Hello, this is Aaron West. I am the author of the A24 New Wave. In this book, I look at A24's output and I make the argument that we are in a new wave movement right now. A24 plays a major role. This book has a supplemental podcast where each episode is a brief conversation about an A24 related topic, whether an actor, director, or even a genre. As I continue research for the book and conduct interviews, I expect to record podcast episodes with people involved with the company. You can find the podcast at cinejourneys.com or wherever you find podcasts, and we are proud to be members of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
Are you a film fan who loves the ultimate home video experience? Look no further than The Disconnected. Your host, Ryan Verrill, is your go-to source for the latest and most accurate information on home video releases, exclusive interviews with industry insiders and filmmakers, and has established a thriving community where every film and physical media enthusiast feels welcome. From hidden gems to blockbuster hits, The Disconnected brings you insider knowledge and a welcoming space to share your love of cinema. Watch every Thursday night at 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific for the live announcements show and follow The Disconnected on social media to stay updated. Subscribe to The Disconnected on YouTube or on the podcast provider of your choice and dive into a world where every movie night is an adventure.
Weirding Way Media.
I listen to a lot of music. There always seems to be another rabbit hole for me to dig into, another artist to discover, or a subgenre of music to obsess over. But there's a special place in my collection and my heart for those singular, unique albums that are in a class all their own. I'm speaking of the much maligned, often misunderstood concept album. Tonight, I'd love to share with you one of my favorite concept albums, discussing its origin and production, and delve into why it's held such a hold on me for so long. Join me as I dive into the singular experience that is Slave to the Rhythm by Grace Jones. Hello listeners to another special episode of Noise Junkies. I'm HP. I've always been a sucker for a concept album. Ziggy Stardust, Tommy, The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway. I love when the album format can expand to encompass other ways of telling a story. Slave to the Rhythm, while not necessarily adhering to the template of more traditional concept albums, has nevertheless earned a place as one of the most fascinating concept albums I have in my collection. I first heard about Slave to the Rhythm while listening to a BBC Radio 2 documentary on legendary producer Trevor Horn. Among his career highlights in the 80s were such classics as ABC's Lexicon of Love.
You think you're smart, stupid, stupid. Shoot that poison arrow through my heart. Shoot that poison arrow. Shoot that poison arrow through my heart. Shoot that poison arrow.
And Frankie Goes to Hollywood's Welcome to the Pleasure Dome. A good portion of this BBC documentary was focused on Horn's production work around Slave to the Rhythm. The more I heard about it, the more I was compelled to seek it out for myself. After the smash success of Welcome to the Pleasure Dome, Horn started preparing for its follow-up. The demo for Slave to the Rhythm was earmarked for the next release. It was written by keyboardist Simon Darlow and Bruce Woolley, who was a co-writer of Video Killed the Radio Star, which was a big hit for Horn's band, The Buggles. However, the recording of the Frankie demo did not go well, and the band could not muster much enthusiasm for it. In this form, it was a much different song than the one it would ultimately become, faster and more stomping.
Never stop the action. I keep it up, keep it up. Slaves to the rhythm. Work to the rhythm.
But all was not lost. ZTT label head Chris Blackwell liked the title and made two crucial suggestions that he felt might rescue the song from the trash heap. First, Blackwell offered that they should go with a different feel and rhythm for the song. He suggested it be recast as a go-go track. Go-go was an offshoot of funk that originated in Washington, D.C. and started gaining popularity in underground circles around this time. It focused on syncopated rhythm patterns and call response with the live audience. Probably the most popular go-go song in terms of notoriety and chart position was 1988's Da Butt, written and performed by the band EU for the soundtrack to Spike Lee's film School Days.
I said, come here, big girl, don't you rock my world. Show that dance to me. She was doing the light. Hey, birthday. When you get that notion, put your back bill in motion. Hey, doing the light. Hey, sexy. Ain't nothing wrong if you wanna do the light all night long.
The second suggestion Blackwell gave to Horn was that the song should go to Grace Jones, another artist on the ZTT label. Grace Jones is a legend that needs no introduction. Singer, actress, fashion icon, force of nature. I'm not sure where I first became aware of Jones. It might have been the music video for her cover of The Police's Demolition Man.
I'm a walking nightmare and nothing but a doom. I feel my frustration as I walk into the room. I'm a three-line wit, I'm the sort of thing they ban. I'm a walking disaster, I'm a demolition man.
Or from her role in the Conan the Barbarian sequel, Conan the Destroyer.
Suppose you set your heart on somebody. What would you do to get him?
Grab him and take him.
You grab him and take him.
Take him. Like that.
Either way, there was absolutely no one like her. Hell, there's no one like her even now. Beautiful, intimidating, androgynous, tough. She was so poised and self-possessed in whatever arena she chose to appear in. She even starred with Adam Ant in an 80s Honda scooter commercial.
I don't know, Grace.
Oh, come on, Adam.
I can't.
It's easy.
I've never ridden one.
It's quick.
I've never ridden anything. Ever.
It's fun.
I don't even drive.
Honda scooters. They're everything but ordinary.
It's sexy.
I'll take it.
I'll take you.
Grace Jones seemed to be everywhere around this time, but it never felt like she sold out. Jones owned everything she said and did, no excuses. After recording the 1982 album Living My Life, Jones focused much more heavily on her acting, appearing in both the aforementioned Conan the Destroyer and A View to a Kill, going toe-to-toe with Roger Moore as Bond henchwoman Mayday. Slave to the Rhythm would mark her return to music after a hiatus of almost 3 years. But before Grace Jones entered the studio, it was up to Trevor Horn and company to reinvent the song for her. Horn and engineer Stephen Lipson decamped to New York, ostensibly to rewrite and record the track with top studio musicians. It must be said that Trevor Horn, though brilliant and inventive, was thoroughly unconventional in his approach to production. In the case of the New York sessions for Slave, Horn and his team arrived in New York with no real idea what they were going to record, or even what go-go really meant. Lipson has described Horn's production approach as, quote, knitting fog. Through a combination of recording the studio musicians and subsequently remixing the tune in a marathon 11th hour session in their hotel room, they finally had their new go-go version of the track. Later, they further experimented with the song, recording yet another faster version that hewed closer to the original Frankie demo. There were now two terrific versions of the song, the slower, slinkier go-go version from the New York sessions and the reworked, faster version. Grace Jones was summoned to the studio to record her vocals. Over the next several weeks, she added her unique stamp to both versions, but by Lipson's reckoning, Jones only spent around 10 hours in the studio doing her parts. It was now almost a year after the recording of the original Frankie demo. Horn and Company had very little to show for their album in the making beyond two versions of the same song. What's worse, now Jones was out of her contract with the label and would not be available for any additional work. How could Trevor Horn fashion an entire album from such limited material? His solution was sheer brilliance. Horn would make the record an album-length contemplation of the song itself and, by extension, Grace Jones. A concept album that encompassed all of the various attempts at recording the song, running parallel with a spoken meditation on Grace Jones, described as a biography in the album's liner notes. Interspersed with the music was an interview Jones had done with journalist Paul Morley.
What did you want to be when you were 17?
Not bored.
And what was the first thing you did to alter that situation of being bored?
I floated on a cloud.
Like we all do, I suppose.
Not all of us.
And then what
The
happened?
lucky ones.
And then what happened? You fell off the cloud.
I don't think I ever came down from that cloud. It was wonderful.
Alongside a recitation from a book by French graphic designer Jean-Paul Goude. Goude had worked with Jones on all aspects of her image, including her album covers, music videos, and live performances. The two were also romantically linked, sharing a son named Paolo, born in 1979. The actor hired to do the voiceover recitation for the album was none other than Ian McShane, best known for playing Al Swearingen in the HBO series Deadwood.
How your singer's blood is incensed at the depth of sound. Lacerations echo in the mouth's open erotic sky, where dance together the lost frenzies of rhythm and an imploring immobility. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Grace Jones.
The rest of the album consisted of interludes where the song was repeatedly deconstructed and reassembled. Horn and his collaborators used the most cutting-edge samplers available at the time to resample elements from both the fast and slow versions of the song into a cohesive journey through the persona of Grace Jones. The faster, driving version of Slave opens the album, retitled Jones the Rhythm. In Horn's hands, the electronic dance song takes on an almost operatic feel at times, and perfectly sets the stage for the rest of the album. The highlight of the album was the final track, titled Ladies and Gentlemen, Miss Grace Jones. This is basically the final form of the go-go version of the song and served as an appropriate finale. Chris Blackwell was right. The beat is absolutely infectious, and there's a sleekness to the whole production that gleams like polished glass. Jones's vocals are a perfect match to the material. She sings with an unmistakable authority. When she sings, the listener can't help but be drawn in.
Never saw the action.
When the final notes ring out on this album, the listener has truly been taken on a journey, not only through aspects of Grace Jones's personality, but through the very song itself. What started out as a desperation move by Horn to fight his way through a problem instead ended up as a creative triumph. His ingenuity, his willingness to risk it all in pursuit of a particular vision is remarkable and key to many of his most enduring productions. The album was a critical and commercial success, eventually being certified platinum worldwide. It remains one of Grace Jones's signature songs and is a mainstay in her live performances even today. In 2012, Grace Jones made headlines when she performed the song for Queen Elizabeth's Diamond Jubilee concert. She hula hooped for the entire song. I've even seen a concert clip from June 2024 where she performed the same stunt during the entirety of the song, which served as her closing number. She hula hooped for more than 12 minutes straight. Not bad for a 76-year-old. I've been listening to this album for close to 17 years now, and I still find it mesmerizing. The music nerd in me loves how the song is repeatedly broken down and built back up, revealing the individual parts that comprise its dense production. It seems like I hear new things every time I listen to it. The wannabe musician-producer in me is still in awe of Trevor Horn's courage and resourcefulness in turning a seemingly impossible situation into a triumph. And although the big single can be enjoyed on its own as part of a playlist, like many great concept albums, I find it most satisfying to take the full journey from the first note to the last as it was intended. Without hyperbole, I can confidently make the claim that Slave to the Rhythm is unlike any other album I own. So there you have it. Thank you for indulging me once again. When I'm not listening to music, you can find me in other areas of the Weirding Way Media Network. I'm the co-host of the Night Mr. Walters, a Taxi podcast, which discusses all things taxi. I'm also an occasional CultureCast guest with Chris Dashew. I also have a Bandcamp site, hpmusicplace.bandcamp.com. You can check that out as well. As always, please feel free to write us, rate us, review us. We'd love to hear from you in any manner you choose. Once again, thanks for listening, and we'll see you again next time.
Have you ever wanted to dive deeper into the horror movies you love? Beyond the Blood is a horror podcast for fans who want more than just surface level screams. We do deep dives into the movies that shaped us, digging into director commentaries, behind the scenes stories, deleted scenes, and the special features that most people skip. Each episode is a love letter to the genre. We break down how these films were made, the creative risks that paid off or didn't, and the lasting impact they've had on the genre as a whole. From 70s slashers to modern nightmares, we celebrate the craft, chaos, and characters that keep us coming back. If you're the kind of fan who rewatches movies with the commentary on, or you simply grew up in the video store horror aisle, the Beyond the Blood podcast was made for you. New episodes every single week. Subscribe, and let's dig deep. Welcome to the Beyond the Blood podcast.